Hey y'all, my name is Jamie, and today we're going to talk about pedagogy within the elementary self contained classroom. The students within these classrooms have exceptionalities that adversely affect their access to the general ed curriculum. So you'll see a modified curriculum and different ways that you can teach these children. The strategies are best used during small groups or one-on-one instruction, and these activities are going to help build foundational skills for literacy and vocabulary. Okay, so the first activity will be for students that have low functioning foundational literacy skills. To us, this means that these students typically score in the 1 to 2 percentile in the STAR reading assessments. Um, those scores and percentages are going to require that these students receive immediate intervention. Instruction between the pre K to kindergarten level um, in the 1 to 2 percentile is going to be challenging for these self contained students, but it's not going to be too difficult that they shouldn't be able to do it. Um, Along with your own professional judgment and your knowledge of your students, because you're going to know your students better than anybody else, you can use these different activities as different ways to work and build basic literacy skills and to also build those um, vocabularies so that these students can begin to communicate. Okay, so in the classrooms that we work in, we have what we call task box, which are just these little colored box. They come in a little container that'll hold about 20 of them, and we have different tasks in each box, and we literally have hundreds of different tasks for the kids depending on what we're working on. So the one I've chose for today is for children that are learning letters. Um, we would typically it says unlock the letters. That's the name of this game. But what we're going to do is we're going to work in, depending on the kid, because there again, you're going to know your kid better. We are going to work in a field of two, and we're going to hold up two letters like this, and we're just going to say to them, touch P. And if they're able to touch the P, then we would go to the lowercase that we had on the table and ask them to touch P again. So if this seems to be too difficult for them, we would then just back up and start with the field of one and just do touch P and then put the lowercase on the table and say touch P. So we're just trying to build those basic skills at this time with these particular kids. Um, okay, so our next activity is going to be really for the students who are working on blending letter sounds. We would work on this activity called Blend and Write, and I'll show you a different way if your children have not developed their fine motor skills and are ready to write. Um, all right, so if you wanted to work with the kid on the letter sounds on this, I hope you can see this. All right, so we have this, and we would say, decoding it, we would go over p, ah, pop to show them each letter sound and then show them how to blend it together. And for the children that are okay to write, you could let them also not trace, but write the letter on the bottom square to match the top and then sound that word out again. For those children that are not writing, you could always use the little letter tiles and let them spell the word out and make the sound as they spell it out to make the word pop. Okay. Okay, so our next activity we're going to talk about are building concrete foundations in their grammar with CVC words. So the way we typically do this activity is we would pick a word, this word pig. We would help them sound it out. We would help them just pig, pig. help them to recognize this word. And then we want to put what a pig looks like with it. So we would lay two pictures down. And for this one, I have a pig and some jam. And we would ask them at this time to repeat the word with us and then find the picture that matches it. So that's just one way that we would play this game, the CVC word game. Okay, so for our last activity, this activity is going to be for students who are still trying to build that extended vocabulary. We use the activity called I Can Decode the Sentence. And this is what it's going to look like. It's going to have, this one says, I can see the mud. And so we're going to help the child sound out the letters and read the sentence. And then we're going to ask them to find the subject of and of course, you're going to have to explain multiple times what the subject is, um, because this activity really focuses more on the grammar skills. So we're going to read the sentence, have them find the subject. Knowing your kids, very important with this activity. You do not want to overstimulate them with more than what they can handle at a time. So we're going to talk about always capitalizing the first letter of the sentence and always using punctuation. So that's kind of how we're going to work with this, which is again decoding the sentences.